Hello, hi, and welcome or welcome back to the Strategic Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Blue, and I'm a business astrologer here to help you use astrology so that you can start, grow, and scale your online business. All right, y'all, we have to buckle up because eclipse season is upon us and it is a doozy. All right, eclipse season 2025 is not one to be played with. So this episode, you're going to want to take notes because we have a lot of energy going on and a lot of particular things that you need to do to prepare your business to thrive during eclipse season. So let's get into it. Exactly what are the eclipses? So let's first break this down from the lens of traditional astrology to really understand what the eclipses are. According to traditional astrology, eclipses really are here to bring chaos into our lives. And that's because they throw off the balance in our lives because they block the light to the luminaries. So whether you're new here or not, a little recap, if you will, the luminaries are the sun and the moon. They're the planets that are held in special regard because they bring light to our solar system. The luminaries also never retrograde. So if you've been listening to my retrograde episodes on the podcast, then you are quite familiar with this. But according to ancient astrology, the luminaries aren't just held in special regard because they bring light to the other planets, but also because they represent us individually, the sun representing our mind and the soul, while the body represents the body. Now, normally, there's nothing blocking the light between these two, so they're able to actually work and do their thing without much challenge, meaning that they're able to bring that light and that support to our mind and soul and body without restraint. However, the eclipses bring chaos in the sense that they block that, okay? Because what happens during an eclipse, the sun and the moon are in each other's way. So depending on whether we're talking about a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, and that is going to be affecting our mind and soul or our bodies respectively. So that's really where the chaos is coming in at. Now, this chaos isn't a bad thing. When I say chaos, I'm really talking about unexpected challenges or sudden changes that are happening. They are needed and necessary because change in itself is a chaotic force. It is what creates the groundwork for something new to erupt. So eclipses, just like retrogrades, are a part of normal planetary maintenance, and they are here to bring this disruption in order to create space for change to happen within astrology. So let's get into what eclipse season is. So like I said, during eclipse season, you may find that things are becoming a lot more chaotic because the luminaries aren't able to do their best work. So when I'm referring to eclipse season, this is the particular time of the year when the eclipses are occurring. And you can kind of think of them as a portal, if you will, and the portal being the time of the first eclipse to the time of the last eclipse. Think of it as a door opening and closing. And during these dates, these are where these sudden changes are expected to arise. They may not happen on that particular date, but it's going to occur within that period of time, really depending on the placements and how they interact with the placements within your chart, which we'll get to in a minute. So in that way, I want you to think of eclipse season as not just a portal, but a portal that is going to really take its time to unfold. Like I said, you may find that eclipse season works really similarly to a planetary retrograde for you. It's not going to be a sudden change, but there are going to be disruptions around a certain area of your chart that's going to last for a few months, okay? So buckle up. Another thing that I want to note is that the eclipses are similar to the North and the South nodes in the sense that they are chaotic and malefic in nature. So when I am talking about malefic nature, this is really speaking to the fact that malefic energy brings about changes and challenges to a chart rather than benefic energy, which is here to really bestow a sense of ease and gifts. Again, chaos really pointing to unexpected and sudden changes and really uncontrolled changes at that. Malefic nature really referring to unexpected challenges. So this is the energy that we're working with when it comes to eclipse season. So biggest thing that you can take note of, regardless of what eclipse season that we're talking about, is to really pay attention to the signs that the eclipses will occur in. They always happen in sibling signs. So for example, a major player in eclipse season 2025 is going to be the Pisces-Virgo axis. These are sibling signs. They are opposing each other. So you definitely want to take note of what signs the eclipses are going to occur in, as well as the houses that they rule over within your birth chart. I also want to give a special shout out to you if you have a major luminary placement, especially if you have a Cancer moon, a Leo sun, or if you're a Cancer or a Leo rising, because regardless of what placements are occurring for that particular eclipse season or where they fall in your chart, you may be more affected, my friend. Why? Because you're ruled by a luminary. Therefore, eclipses are just naturally going to be impacting you just a little bit more. So you may find that you're a little bit more sensitive to the energy of that transit. Again, this is a slow moving transit. This is not something that you're going to feel quickly like a new or a full moon. It's going to linger. It's going to last for a while. So you're going to want to buckle up and really take the time to get settled into this energy. This is a fantastic time to really get into journaling, any kind of retrospective process where you're able to really settle into your emotions and see exactly what changes are arising and giving yourself a lot of spaciousness to move with these changes and to not resist them. So when exactly will eclipse season be occurring? So eclipse season 2025, there are 4 eclipses in particular that are going to be going down, and we're going to talk about them right now. So the very first eclipse that is opening the door for eclipse season 2025 is going to be happening on March 14th. This is the total lunar eclipse in Virgo, and this will be direct at 6:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is going to be opening the new eclipse process, again, really focusing on that Virgo-Pisces axis. That's going to be a major player. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of nervous about this because these eclipses are happening on my luminaries. I have a Virgo moon and a Pisces sun. So they're going to be right there for me. And on top of that, I have a Leo rising. So I'm a little nervous, I'm not going to lie, for this eclipse. But I'm also really looking forward to the kind of changes that are going to be occurring for that as well. I should also note as well that in the same ways that eclipses occur in sibling signs, they also occur in pairs. So there's always a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse that happens together. So following the lunar eclipse in Virgo, on March 29th, there's going to be a partial solar eclipse in Aries. This will be direct at 10:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's also going to be closing out this past eclipse cycle. This will also be the final eclipse that happened in Aries. So prior to the 2025 eclipse season, the eclipses were occurring in the Aries-Libra axis. So for the last few years, there's been a lot of activity in the Aries and Libra ruled houses. Shout out to you if you have a major placement in one of those signs because it's rocked your shit. All right. So you are, I'm sure, ready for it to yeet up out of there. But this is also preparing for there to be a shakeup in the Virgo-Pisces ruled houses in your chart. So definitely take note with this partial solar eclipse in Aries, what lessons you've learned during this past eclipse cycle, and how you will continue to use that as we move forward. So that is really the opening of eclipse season 2025, or both occurring in March, which already has a lot of activity within astrology and is one of the biggest parts of 2025's astrology overall. So with that, it opens up the eclipse portal, if you will. So you're going to want to pay special attention to what unfolds during that time until the eclipse portal closes in September. So that's where the next set of eclipses will occur, starting with September 7th, which will be the total lunar eclipse in Pisces, which will be direct at 6:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the final eclipse of eclipse season 2025 will occur on September 21st. as a partial solar eclipse in Virgo. And that will be direct at 7:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as the fourth and final eclipse of 2025. So you want to pay attention to the events that occur for you in the Virgo and Pisces and even Aries ruled houses within your chart during this time, especially during March and September 2025. With that said, now that you know what eclipses are and what to expect during eclipse season and exactly what dates to look out for, how can you prepare your business for eclipse season? So this is a major part of learning how to use astrology to your advantage and why business astrology is incredibly vital, because knowing this, let's say that you have a major Virgo or Pisces placement and you are planning to do something like a launch. I would take heed of doing that. I wouldn't necessarily put it on pause, but I would really consider the transits and how to astrologically make the most out of the energy, especially if it's going to occur between March and September 2025. So with that being said, how do you prepare your business for eclipse season 2025? Unlike previous years, we're actually starting a whole new eclipse cycle. So while it may be helpful to go back to the last time that the eclipses were occurring in Virgo and Pisces, this is new territory astrologically for your chart. So the biggest thing that you can do to really prepare and to make the most out of this season is to really take note of what houses are ruled by Virgo, Libra, Aries, and Pisces within your chart, because these are going to be impacted the most by this eclipse season. Again, if you have a luminary ruled rising, or you have a luminary ruled luminary, meaning that you have like a Cancer moon or a Leo sun, you especially want to take note of this and really consider this for your business plans and to plan your business accordingly, okay? Not being surprised by the shakeups that will be occurring, because again, eclipses are chaotic, malefic energy by nature. They're just going to bring about more challenges and challenges that you may not be prepared for necessarily. And with any major transit, the biggest thing that you can do is preparation. Is to just be open for the possibility of things not going as you expect them to. One thing I do want to say as well, when it comes to taking note of where in your chart this is occurring for you, I especially want you to zero in on the preparation. If this is occurring in one of your wealth houses, so your second, your sixth, or your 10th house, in the house of your midheaven, or even the house where your midheaven ruling planet is. And also, if any of these things that I just listed are within the luminaries or in the houses that are being affected by the eclipses. This is going to especially be relevant for you. The biggest key to making the most out of eclipse season and allowing your business to thrive on top of preparation is to learn how to work with malefic energy. So the key here, again, because eclipses are chaotic, malefic events, then working with malefic nature is really going to help you to take that to the next level and allow your business to continue to thrive, even if things are not going the way that you expected. And what I mean by that is that the key to working with malefic nature astrologically is to embrace the difficulties. So you hear a lot about this when people are moving through their personal Saturn returns, especially like there's a lot of fear-mongering around that particular transit, right? It can be a really difficult time. But what I found across the board when it comes to Saturn retrograde and also other retrogrades is that when you resist what the retrogrades are here to do, when you resist the lessons that the malefic planets, Mars and Saturn, are here to teach you in your chart, that's when you have a more difficult time. That's what makes a Saturn return so challenging, is that people like put all this hype around it and also like they're so resistant to it. For example, if you have Saturn in your 7th house, you may find yourself really resistant to the lessons that it wants to bring you when it comes to your relationships with other people. That's going to create a more challenging Saturn return. Versus if you embrace the fact that relationships are maybe a challenging point for you and that's something for you to work on, then that's a way that you can do some Saturn remediation and make it a little bit easier to navigate. So when we're talking about eclipse season, it's going to be bringing up things that perhaps you may not want to be dealing with or bring up. But in order to be a successful business owner, you have to live a full life. And that includes dealing with life challenges. And when things get hard, giving yourself the space to deal with it and also allow your business to keep running. So yes, structuring your business and your business foundations in a way that allow you to continue to move forward and for your business to operate even if you have to personally take a step back. And also individually, how can you use these difficulties and these challenges that arise to become a better human being, to be a better business owner, to be a better leader for your business? That's what's going to allow you to make the most out of eclipse season 2025. So let the eclipses do their thing. Let them be the chaotic forces they are, because again, these are going to create opportunities for change to come, especially in the Virgo and Pisces ruled areas of your chart. So it's less about breaking it down to an exact science or over preparing, but really learning where you can release control in order to create the change that you need to actually fulfill your goals. That is how you really make the most out of eclipse season 2025. But if you want to take this a step further and to dig into your personal astrology beyond the 2025 eclipse season on how you can use the transits to grow and scale your business, then I want to invite you to join me inside of my private astrologer program. This is my private consulting program where I work with you to use the transits to plan how to grow and scale your business. All of the information for the program, as well as where you can apply, can be found in the show notes, where I also have links to everything else I've mentioned in today's episode. I can't wait to work with you inside of Private Astrologer, and I'll see you in the next episode of the podcast. Bye.